Nightly greetings, one and all. Denise Osorio here, homegrown and happy to bring you PTV News Now. And we kick off tonight's stories with Bamban Mayor, or make that for former Bamban Tarlac Mayor Alice Guo, whose elective post as chief executive of her town in Tarlac has just been forever stripped by the Ombudsman earlier in the afternoon. In a 25-page decision, Ombudsman Samuel Martirez, after having found probable cause given the preponderance of evidence, summarily and permanently dismissed the former mayor in hiding from her elected post. The former mayor, who has been found guilty on multiple charges, is also effectively barred from holding office for the rest of her foreseeable life. Guo's involvement in illegal pogo activities and operations shows a willful intent on her part to break the law or flout established rules or ordinance. Though ex-Mayor Alice Guo is nowhere to be found, she no longer can go back to her hometown, where she will be immediately arrested and detained upon sight. Inflation and immigration are the top two issues in the race for the White House this November. And former U.S. President Donald Trump slams rival candidate Kamala Harris for Biden's failed policy at the southern border. But Kamala Harris is touting her record as a former Los Angeles District Attorney and California Attorney General, as VOA's immigration correspondent Aline Barros reports.
On the campaign trail, Vice President Kamala Harris highlights her background as a prosecutor, district attorney, and California Attorney General.
I walked underground tunnels between the United States and Mexico on that border with law enforcement officers. I went after transnational gangs, drug cartels, and human traffickers that came into our country illegally. I prosecuted them in case after case, and I won.
While in office, former President Donald Trump built more than 80 kilometers of new border wall, reduced the annual cap on refugee admissions to historic lows, and enforced a policy that separated children from their parents.
This November, the American people are going to compare these records, and they're going to tell Border Czar Harris, you have done a horrible job. You're a disgrace to our country. You're fired. Get out of here. You're fired. Get out.
Immigration is a hot issue in this presidential election. A Chicago Council survey found that 50% of respondents say a large number of immigrants is a threat to the United States, though just over half of Americans support a border wall and the use of American troops at the U.S.-Mexico border. Most oppose mass deportation of undocumented immigrants. With Congress failing to pass immigration reform, the nation remains dependent on executive actions and regulations, regardless of who is in office.
With the political environment we're in, it's a tough place because executive actions are always going to be the subjects of lawsuits, and we have a Congress that's not willing to act.
Harris pledges to support border security legislation, highlighting Trump's role in sinking a bipartisan Senate bill earlier this year.
He tanked the bipartisan deal because he thought it would help him win an election. Which goes to show Donald Trump does not care about border security. He only cares about himself. So here is my pledge to you. As president, I will bring back the border security bill that Donald Trump killed, and I will sign it into law.
Trump's Republican allies have urged him to focus on areas where they believe he has an advantage over Harris, especially on immigration. He continues to call for the deportation of undocumented migrants and criticizes the Biden-Harris administration for having what he calls an open border policy.
With your vote, inflation will stop. The illegal aliens will be turned back. They're not coming in. We got to stop them. Did you see where she's now saying, oh, we had a very good border. Oh, great. They had the worst border in the history of the world.
The U.S. Border Patrol logged about 130,000 migrant encounters in June, up from about 104,000 in the same month of 2019, Trump's last year before the pandemic, but down from the December 2023 peak of more than 300,000. Aline Barros, VOA News, Washington.
A little past 7 and a quarter tonight, a Philippine Airlines passenger jet carrying the country's 22 athletes who played their hearts out in the just-ended Paris Olympian arrived at the Villamor Air Base. A throng of school kids waving Philippine flags greeted the country's sports heroes as they disembarked and walked the red carpet. Female boxer Nesty Patecio held the Philippine flag as she and golden boy Carlos Yulo walked the red carpet together, much to the delight of the eager crowds of the athletes' families, friends, and well-wishers. The athletes posed for selfies before sitting down inside the Villamor Air Base lounge for snacks. In about half an hour, they will board a shuttle headed for Malacañang Palace, where the President and First Lady awaits them for a grand welcome, reception dinner, distribution of cash incentives, and inspiration speech. At this moment, let's turn to my colleague in PTV's Pine City studios for what's brewing off late in the Cordilleras, Audrey Villena.
Naimbag Arabi, Pilipinas, ipampanakal ti Lamut Ifugao ti produkto da nga iodized salt ang nugatangan ti publiko. Idilang napalabas sa tawon iti maudi a quarter, nang rugin iti panagproseso kun panangproduce da iti iodized salt, iti Barangay Poblacion East, Lamut Ifugao. Dahito iti may sa pagtaudan ti pondo tinaso a barangay nang runa iti feeding program nga ipatpatong palda. Tunggal aldaw, makaproduce da iti 20 as sako iti iodized salt. 40 pesos ti per kilo ti iodized salt, 20 pesos mat iti half kilo, kan 10 pesos iti 1/4. Aglaklako damot lang iti wholesale. Sigun iti barangay kapitan iti naso a barangay, dakkel atulong daytoy nang runa iti salun at ti tao. Nang bukol pa iti lokal a gobyerno ti Asin Task Force, tapno masigurado nga awan ti imported salt iti munisipyo, maitunos iti ordinansa. Wagas daytoy tapno magatang ti produkto ti ili.
Oo naman, effective. Marami nga silang production eh. Pero kung minsan may mga kababayan na tayo na sa anumang kadahilanan ayaw nilang sumunod. Pero mas maraming kababayan natin na nagpapatronize ng iodized salt.
Inaanyayahan ko po lahat ng mga gumagamit ng asin, hindi lang po dito sa Ifugao, just visit us here at Poblacion East, Lamut, Ifugao.
Kabayatan na, imbiling ti lokal a gobyerno tila Trinidad tinaingat nga anti-dengue measures. Nailisan tinasarok sa nga 1,200 a kaso ti dengue itila Trinidad sipod Enero aging gana Agosto 2 ita atawen. Tunggal alas 4 ti malam, aguni ti Serena tapno mapalagipan dagiti umili nga agdalus kas preventive measure kontra dengue. Naibilin mat iti 16 a barangay health stations kan rural health unit ang mangilatang iti dengue fast lanes. May saysayang katmatan ti fumigation kan misting kadagiti lugar nga agkasapulan iti naingingat nga addang tapno mapukaw ti mosquito breeding grounds. Apela ti lokal a gobyerno tila Trinidad ti panagdalus dagiti umili iti balay, arubayan ken iti para publiko a lugar, a posible a breeding sites ti lamok a nakaimat iti dengue virus. Dagiti damdamag manipod iti PTV Cordillera, Shock ni Audrey Villena, Naimbag Arabi.
Many thanks, Audrey. And that's a wrap for tonight's show. Join us again tomorrow at the hour for another round of late-breaking stories here and abroad. And always stay connected by catching the news right here at PTV. Denise Osorio here, wishing all of you a restful night ahead.